Late? Yes. Worth it? No, not at all. Blumhouse, what are you doing? This is another Blumhouse release that just came out. Well, actually, it came out in January, but I'm a little late on it. However, this movie, I will say, is almost as good as Imaginary, because there's nothing really here for me to enjoy with this one, unfortunately, because Night Swim to me is a movie that I feel like, in concept, you could have a really fun, self-aware idea with this. It's a haunted pool. That's a little hard to make scary and intense in the idea that, you as an audience member, you're watching it, and you could just be like, hey, why doesn't the main character just leave the pool and not come back? Problem solved. And sadly, this movie runs into that issue. I do think it's interesting, though, because this movie does try to explore a theme with the pool. There is, like, a thematic idea behind it in this way that where the family connects together and they feel like they're coming together in the pool when they hang out outside because they just got this new house. The movie's kind of about this dad who plays baseball, is really good at sports. However, he feels estranged to his family because sports have always come easy to him, but however, connection, emotional connection, that stuff, he struggles with that. And that could be an interesting take and an interesting tale to tell with this movie. With that being said, none of that really gets explored here, and that's because I think this movie is so all over the place with what it wants to be. It wants to be a basic horror movie, fun with its pool setting. However, it wants to be kind of a family drama at the same time, and none of those ideas really mesh well for one cohesive movie in this sense, because a lot of the time, you're just spending time with characters you don't like. A lot of the time, the dad in this movie comes across as he's an asshole. He doesn't really care about his kid. There are points in the movie where he's being neglectful, and it does feel like it's trying to do it for an arc. However, the movie doesn't really give us any really threads or pieces to pick up on in terms of liking him. There's no hint of likability with him in terms of, like, hey, maybe he wants to connect to his son, but he's struggling. No, a lot of the time he's just kind of neglectful to him, so you don't really get that connection that the movie wants you to yearn for by the end. The teenage daughter in this is frustrating because she at a point, she does the generic thing of bringing a boyfriend over while nobody's home, and then she's playing in the pool, and she's playing Marco Polo with this kid, and at one point, kid you not, she's literally putting herself in danger because at a point, she's closing her eyes, she's playing Marco Polo, and a ghost demonic voice calls to her, and she just continues to swim towards it and saying Marco Polo and playing the game like as if it's not her boyfriend's voice. And something about that was just so silly to me. The fact that you're going to ask us to care about this character, yet she is putting herself in positions of danger to where we're kind of laughing as audiences. I kind of feel like this movie wanted to do an arc with the youngest son, but then he kind of gets sidelined throughout the film, and then by the end, they bring that back around, but they don't really do much with it. They don't really do much with the connection between the dad and the son in this movie, so I didn't really feel like the ending of it was earned all that much, even though the movie was trying to tell me that's what it was about this whole time. I haven't even gotten into the horror stuff of this. There's not a lot. There's a lot of shots in this movie of a cat staring at a pool, the dad staring at the pool, and they're just staring at the pool. That's all really going on, and that's just not that scary to me. And there's one scene in particular where you kind of play with the creep factor, I think, and it involves like the idea of like the girls being alone and hearing voices on the pool. That could be fun. Then the movie doesn't really do anything with that. I will say, in terms of positives, while I struggle finding some for this one, I do think there's one hint of really good tension in the scene in the pool where there's a pool party going on. At one point, it kind of feels like anything could happen at any moment for just a brief second, where it feels like, oh, there's some tension going on here. There's a weird, creepy conversation going on in the kitchen with the mom while the dad's playing with the kids outside. The music's kind of rising. I feel like something bad is about to happen. It is genuinely the best scene in the movie, and it's a good raising tension moment. And that, I think, was where the pacing of this movie kind of picked up as well. The first half of this movie is really boring. I did not feel like there was a lot going on. They were trying to build character, but not really doing much with them to make it feel earned. So by the time we get to the kickoff where the horrific stuff starts happening and when the pacing of the movie actually picks up, yes, the pacing picks up, but you're doing it with characters that are not that fascinating or interesting in this movie, in my opinion, so it doesn't really feel that well earned. It doesn't feel like stakes are picking up in a way that feels like you're going to be there for the right attention that the movie wants to take you on. Not to mention the fact that when the horror is going down, the ghost itself, the character that is like this horrific thing, this monster, isn't really that smart. There's a scene where it's chasing one of the kids in the room, and then the scene just kind of cuts away after the monster had found the kid. And then the spirit monster, whatever it is, doesn't really do anything with it. He just goes away. It's just the kid's in another room and the scene just ended. And I'm like, so you found her and then you just went away? I mean, what is it with Blumhouse creatures and ghosts doing this. Imaginary had that, and now Night Swim. And it's just an odd trend going on lately with this. I don't think the performances are bad. I mean, the acting is fine. I think the actors are doing the best they can with what they have. There's just not much to explore here. And sadly, which is unfortunate, because I actually do like the cast. I like Russell a lot in his other stuff. He's really good. It's just here he doesn't feel like he gets a lot to do, unfortunately. And the movie really does center around him for most of the time. So it's kind of disappointing. Overall, Night Swim is another Blumhouse horror movie where I just don't feel like it doesn't really feel like a horror movie. There's not a lot of horror stuff going on in it. It doesn't feel like there's a lot of character in that as well. And sadly, this movie doesn't really do a good job at picking up on the emotions, so the themes of the movie with its family disconnection doesn't really hit just as much as the horror of this movie doesn't really hit as well. Night Swim didn't really do it for me. I watched it on Peacock the other day just to see what I would think of it, and now I'm doing this review so I can justify watching it. So, what did you guys think of Night Swim? I hope you like it. I'm not trying to talk down to you if you enjoy it. Genuinely, I hope you liked it more than I did. What did you guys think? What's your favorite Blumhouse movie? What's your least favorite Blumhouse movie? And thank you for watching Scatterbrain Reviews. I will see you next time.